You're busy, you've got a decent practice, but nobody wants to be decent. You want to be great, and you want to have a great practice. So how did the most productive, profitable dentist in the nation balance real life, work, and profits, and somehow make it all seem fun? Well, it comes down to simple, everyday practices. So grab a lunch, join us as we chat with top clinicians and influencers to discover their formula for uncommon success. Are you ready? Then it's time to explore everyday practices with Vicki McManus-Peterson and Dr. Chad Johnson.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Everyday Practices, another podcast here with our special guest, Regan Robertson. Regan's filling in for Vicki. Regan, how you doing?
Doing great. Hello. Welcome.
Excellent.
Happy to be here.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us. So that way we always have, like a coffee feeling with a guy host, a girl host. We're just, rocking it out with Dr. David Bender today. How you doing today, Dr. David?
I'm doing great. It's nice to be here as well.
Yeah, for the audience, let me tell you a little bit about Dr. Bender. Dr. David Bender is an entrepreneur at heart and currently owns 3 dental practices, one of which has 28 treatment rooms. So, probably one or two more than I have or any of us have. He's retired from clinical dentistry by the age of 40, and he's focusing on growth and strategy practices. He's also one of the founders of DSN, Dental Success Network, and he takes pride in his ability to coach others. He lives in Fishers, Indiana, and if necessary, you can reach him at dbender12@gmail.com. I find it really interesting, Dr. Bender, that Facebook has been recommending that we become friends now for about a month. We must be like one link away or whatever, because I've seen your name pop up, and when I saw that we were interviewing you, I thought, what in the world? I've seen this name. And then I go on Facebook and I'm like, oh, Facebook's trying to make us be friends.
It's never suggested David Bender to me, and we've had so many phone calls. Now it must be because you guys are out in the Midwest, maybe.
Maybe. Isn't that weird? But
I'm
you
feeling
think,
a little left out.
I know. I'm sorry to boast it about how awesome my Facebook was trying to make us be. It's just I don't get it. But So one of the things that we wanted to talk about on the episode was I was wondering if you'd be able to kind of give us a little history on on your dental career, and then so why don't I turn it over to you so you can share some more about that.
Yeah, so I'm a 2002 graduate from the Indiana University School of Dentistry. I joined Heartland Dental Care for about 5 years after dental school, and then I did a scratch start practice essentially January of 2008. And that's the practice that we just moved into this new facility. In 2013, I did a second scratch start, but this was an associate-driven practice. And then in 2017, a partner and I, we acquired a third practice. Mm-hmm. So those are the 3. But yeah, I staying busy trying to grow these practices and figure out how to make them as efficient as possible.
Are you originally from Indiana?
I am. I grew up in Richmond, Indiana, which is on the Indiana and Ohio border.
Oh, okay.
I lived in Ohio for 2 years in high school, but came back to Indiana for undergrad and then for dental school.
Is that near Fort Wayne, north or south, or where is that in relation to that?
The Fort Wayne is kind of north of where I am right now. I'm in Fishers, Indiana, which is a suburb of Indianapolis, which is right in the center.
Oh, yeah, you're down there then.
Yep.
Very cool.
Wow, David, what took you down that path of deciding to open 3 practices at once? You could just go in and practice clinically in one and be content. Chad's shaking his head at me.
No, it's a great question. I'm just in awe because it's like 28 ops just at one.
Right? It's so impressive and bold.
Well, no, it's just it's kind of progressed that way. When I first started the practice, the scratch start in 2008, it was a major struggle. It wasn't one of those practices that was gangbusters at the beginning. In fact, the first year that we were open in 2008, we collected $144,000 for the year. So, it was a major struggle. And, I didn't take a paycheck for a year and a half. And, I did everything I could to try and grow that practice. And I think because of the struggles of that startup, it forced me to be better, at providing clinical care, but also providing amenities and other resources, I guess, for our patients, that allowed us to grow.
Regan, that reminds me of the word resilience, and just the fact that he bounced back from that. I kind of like boasting like you did about how sucky the first year was. I always joke that my first fiscal year, I paid myself $25,000, and so it's kind of along those lines where like some people think that you're instantly rich because you're a dentist and stuff like that. This podcast is just dentists listening to this, so we're in good company. But so I'm glad you shared those details, and it just reminds me of the resilience, because you could have said, you know what, this isn't working. I'm going to go back to Heartland, and that's where I could be comfortable.
Right.
Oh,
right. That's
sure.
what I was thinking. It could have crushed you.
Yes.
And I know our listeners can't see the video, but David Bender's like glowing smile and confidence, and to be that brave to see the adversity and go forward and upward. That's really impressive and good to share. I've had doctors, crying to me because, like what you just said, Chad, like they brought home 20,000, 25,000, and that is not the life that they thought they were signing up for, which isn't anybody's. No.
Yeah, right. I don't think dentists talk about that enough, because scratch starts can be very difficult, and when you don't hear the difficulties and the struggles and the challenges that many dentists have, you think, it's going to be smooth sailing, and your expectations may be off. So I think it's good to hear about the struggles.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
And you said, so improving clinical and amenities were two things that helped you get over that hurdle. Were those your two biggest areas, you think, for?
Yeah, I think, what we did, I opened evening hours. So I was open until 7 o'clock, and that was a big boost. I wouldn't have done that if we were productive in the first year, right? I mean, if things were easy for the first year, I wouldn't have had to work till 7 o'clock. But that is a major factor. We did the free whitening for life since we first opened, and I think that was a big draw. I don't know how much it is now, but patients really enjoyed that. And again, that was something that I had to get my name out there. I had to figure out what do patients want when they come to the dental office, and we needed to be better at that than my competition. This area is it's a growing area. It's Fishers, Indiana. It's a growing area, but anytime you have growth, there's a lot of dentists that kind of flock to the area too. So plenty of competition.
Very cool. So can you also tell us then how you got the DSN started, how you got programmed in there, and how did that come about?
Yeah, so DSN, I was invited to join Dental Town Master Group, 25 or so dentists, maybe 4 years ago. And in that mastermind group, I met Dave Malilly and Tim McNamara. I think you probably know both of those guys.
Bruce and Chris were just in Lexington, Kentucky, speaking at the Life and Dentistry
That's right.
Event. Yeah, and David Malilly was there.
Phenomenal people. I love those guys. And we just kind of naturally clicked together, and then Tim, unveiled his brainchild of what DSN is now, and it's gone through some iterations of it, but now it's to the point, we're very proud of what DSN has become, and we're definitely excited for the future. But it was just a collection of ideas at the beginning, starting with Tim through this mastermind group that we were in.
Very cool. So what's your regular day look like, running the administrative stuff since you've taken a step back from clinical work? I mean, most dentists listening to this are going to be clinical guys. So it's kind of fun to hear about, the different avenues of dentistry. So what's your week look like, or your day, or however you want to describe it? Because I'm sure it's different, but how's that look?
Yeah, it's definitely different. I mean, when you're a clinical dentist, every minute of your time is kind of programmed out. You know where you're going to be, what exams you have to do, what operative you're doing, and sometimes you get a bathroom break, during the day.
Right.
And then coming out of clinical, I struggled, with knowing how to structure my day. I probably wasted a lot of time, but now I kind of fill up. When we moved into this new facility in January 1st, and so with this new facility, it's opened up a lot of doors and other opportunities for us. So now I kind of focus on how can we optimize what we have going at this time, and what are some of the other opportunities that we have. Like we're starting a dental assisting school. We are bringing in, we're bringing in an anesthesiologist for IV sedation. We're increasing. We just started a pediatric dentistry program. We're increasing our ortho program and oral surgery program. So there's a lot of things that need to be figured out and managed. And really, my days are kind of set up to with meetings, I guess, with different leaders within the practice.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So you're sort of like a logistical king. A lot of facilitation, a lot of making sure you're holding true north for everybody.
Exactly. Yeah. That's right. I was listening to. It's funny. I was listening to Simon Sinek the other day, and he was talking about leadership, and he was talking about how it's not about being in charge; it's about being responsible for those in your charge. And I thought that was a really great way to look at leadership, and that's what I've been trying to do, to work with our leaders within this practice and figure out ways to make it better for our patients and for our team members.
Well, that brings up a good question. So what is success for you? Because you're outside of the, it's a funny question because DSN has success in the, right in the middle.
Right.
But for you, just you, not like, hey, for dentists in general, but for you yourself, what does success look like, and how is that achieved? How do you find satisfaction in what you're doing?
Yeah, I'd say if you were to ask me that a while ago, I would probably give you some sort of financial goal. And I remember, it's funny, I remember in dental school, I was looking at this house in the suburbs, and I'm like, it's in a nice neighborhood. I'm like, that is success. If I could live in that neighborhood with that house, and but now, if you ask me, where I want to live, it would be on 5 acres with an indoor basketball goal, right?
That's a good success. I like that.
The point is, if you go by financial or assets, it's always changing. I think success for me would be satisfaction in a job, working on the challenges of the problems within that job. So if you can find a job that you're happy to work on the problems that you have to solve for that specific job, then I think it's very successful. And then, in my opinion, you're not working. You have a hobby.
Yeah.
It's something fun to do. And so that's where I'm at right now. I think it's I love these challenges that are brought forth, and so I'm just happy where I'm at right now.
Yeah, that you have life purpose.
Exactly.
And that would translate to other people too, but specifically for you, finding that purpose was important.
For sure.
I have a question. Were you satisfied with clinical dentistry, and you just found that you had a knack for this? Or, to be honest, were you just like, clinical dentistry wasn't cool, I actually really dig it? I guess it could go both ways, and it's not right or wrong.
Yeah, no, I did enjoy clinical dentistry. I enjoyed connecting with patients. I felt like that was my strength, to build rapport with the patient. And, especially if you had a fearful patient, to be able to change their mind about receiving dental care. That got me going. So it wasn't like I didn't enjoy seeing patients. It became a problem where I was working on the weekends on the practice while I was seeing patients during the week, and that was too much. I didn't get into dentistry to work 7 days a week. It would be, I got into it to have family time and be able to, coach Little League, even though my son's not interested in baseball. So there's that. Yeah.
Sometimes it works out like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, David, what you said about leadership in particular really, really inspires me, and how you define success. I think that hit my heartstrings, because that's how I've always felt is, as long as you're being entertained with the challenge and you're excited, you get up earlier, you end up running towards it. That is, there's such a satisfaction that comes from that. And when I see you from my perspective, it just blows my mind how your path, what I see for your path. And do you have an overarching vision, or does it just sort of unfold as you go? Because I hear 18,000 square foot office, 28 treatment rooms, educational center. We didn't even talk about that yet. You're bringing education into all, to the region, which is fantastic. And now you're going to open a dental assisting school. What is there an end game in mind here, or are you just, onward and upward?
No, it is onward and upward, but I do intend to either do some more scratch starts or acquisitions. I always had an idea of having 20 practices, but that can change. This one practice is like 6 or 7 practices in one.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's been fun to work out these challenges. But yeah, so you mentioned this new building with the 28 operatories. It's a multi-specialty practice. So we have, an orthodontist, we have a pediatric dentist now, we have an oral surgeon that comes in part-time. We have 4.5 general dentists that come in here. And then of course on the second floor, we have the learning facility, which can hold over 100 people. We have some admin offices. We have space for an in-house call center for the 3 practices I have. That is put on hold as we're trying to
no pun
manage
intended.
the clinical part. Yeah, that's phase 2. Is that what you said?
No, you said put on hold for the call center. So
exactly. Yeah, tongue in cheek. But yeah, so the learning facility actually came about because in our previous office, we had 11 treatment rooms and we had 35 team members, and we had no place to have a team meeting. We would gather around.
Oh, well, I have that problem. I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a real thing. And people are sitting on the floor. It just wasn't conducive to really getting anything done. So in order to have a team meeting, we would have to rent space to have a team meeting. And that, just didn't make a whole lot of sense. So it started with that, and then, kind of evolved into where, we have 5 GPs now, and, specialists, and to send everybody to a continuing education course is very expensive. And so if we could bring people to us to educate our dentists and dental teams, and that makes a lot of sense. And then evolved into hosting DSN faculty members as well.
Speaking of that, you're bringing up the whole continued ed stuff. I've heard that there's an event coming down the pipeline in June. Can you tell us about that?
So excited. PDA is coming to our office here in Fishers, Indiana. So it's June 14th and 15th. And, all 3 of my practices are going to be there, but we have room for other dentists and dental teams. And we're super excited to be able to allow PDA to come to our area. So
that's a Friday, Saturday.
It's a Friday, Saturday, exactly. Yep.
Okay.
And it's we are so excited that you'll be hosting us, David. I can't wait to get out there to meet everybody and see, and for everybody listening, it's a 2-day productivity workshop. So at an incredible tuition price. So we'll have 6 presenters there, including Dr. Bruce. Our own Chris Moriarty will be there. We'll have a full crew. So it's going to it'll be great. We're really excited. Can't wait to see your facility.
Like I said, it's a thrill for me. It's a dream come true, to be honest. I didn't think that we'd be able to do something like this the first year that we're open. It's wonderful. I'm very excited.
So other than education, which we know is clearly something that you're very passionate about, and keeping people on that path, if you look,
so cool.
If you look back on your career so far overall, since 2008 and before then, what is one thing you could share with our listeners to help them? What's one thing you've learned?
One thing I would say, surround yourself with other like-minded dentists. I think dentistry in general, it's kind of a cottage industry still, and you can have it's difficult, to work clinically in a very difficult environment, and then you're managing your team members, and you're worried about marketing, and I mean, there's so many different hats that you have to wear. It's hard, and you have to be the answer man. Your team is coming to you constantly for answers to, and whether you have the right ones or not, you're still providing them, right? So if you have a network of dentists that you can ask questions, you can share information, you can learn, continuously, then I think that is probably the most important thing. So yeah, I would say that.
Don't get isolated. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exceptional.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I think there's something to that too, where you don't want to be isolated, but at the same time, you don't want to surround yourselves with problem people or with negative Nellies and people that. Sorry to any listeners also that their name is Nelly or anything like that. It wasn't but you want to have the same like-minded people, and that's a really good point. I mean, it's good for, just about anything, whether it be your hobby or anything. You'd hate to love photography and then go hang out on a weekend with people that are like, I just hate pictures, and pictures are stupid, and I hate when people are always taking pictures and looking at pictures, and that's not going to get you your heart's satisfaction.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's why DSN was founded, to be honest. You have, Dental Town was very successful, but there'd always be in social media groups, Facebook groups, you have some snarkiness that happens, or people with an agenda, right? And other dentists or maybe not even dentists, they're just out there to put someone else down, and right. So DSN is not that way. It's only dentists that are allowed into the network, and it's a shared environment. It's a friendly environment. There's no, we don't allow that snarkiness, and we don't allow the negativity in there.
And you don't allow you allow high quality content to be shared, right?
Absolutely,
because that's another thing I've noticed with social media in particular, and even with speaking of the negative Nellies or the positive Pollies, someone could be saying something positive, but then the sound business advice behind it I've seen has been lacking, and there's really no way for people to know if you're on Facebook, for example. You have to really search out those answers, and that was something Dr. Mark Costas, I met him last April, I think it was, last year, and when he debuted DSN, and I was absolutely blown away. I was like, this is what dentistry needs. You need a safe place with positivity is good, but also really sound philosophies, sound strategies to get your train on the tracks.
Absolutely, yeah, and so we're thrilled with how DSN is, it's going. Education is a huge component of it. We have 100 hours of online CE. We have these live events in the Scottsdale Center, and then also in our Indianapolis facility now. But
Dr. Dave, I was just at a conference this weekend. Dr. Baron Grutter was teaching digital orthodontics, and he put on a video onto DSN live, streaming it, a short demonstration of what he was doing. He was scanning some teeth. And so he wanted to put that up there. So it just is a reminder that, that content is always being added to, and it's good stuff that's on the bleeding edge. I mean, if Dr. Baron Grutter is doing it, then people need to be paying attention.
Yeah, exactly. What a great talent he is.
Yeah.
Chad, did you go to any workshops with Baron? I know he's a PDA doc.
No, but he's the one that told me about Productive Dentist
Academy.
He
is? Yes. Oh, that is so cool.
Because I knew him from CEREC doctors and from the CEREC mentor group, and I got a hold of him, and I was like, man, I'm just frustrated. He's like, I know just the thing for you to do. And so, that's when I got plugged in. And I think at the time he had just gone within the past year or two to PDA. And for me, that was probably... I think it was around 2013 that he was telling me about that. And so if he had started in 2011 or 2012, I wouldn't be surprised, but
I owe him a little. I'm going to have to write him a little card. Say thank you. Thank you for sending one of my favorite docs of all time to PDA.
Oh, well, I do want to get him on this podcast at some point,
I'll friend him on Facebook.
Well, Dr. David, I've got a question for you, and we put all of our guests through the ringer. This is a very difficult question, and it wasn't on any prep work for you to see. So, I'm going to, hot seat you. You have to choose between one or the other and not both, or I guess if you choose both, that's fine. But all right, so here it comes. Bacon or eggs?
Oh, bacon. I love eggs. Don't get me wrong, but bacon goes on everything. It's phenomenal. So yeah, that's not even a tough choice.
I know it really is and isn't. I mean, I think bacon wins, but I think it's about a 2/3. We're going to run the stats at some point to see what we've come up with, but I think 2/3 of the people are on bacon. So,
okay. Yeah. So 1/3 are wrong.
I know, right? That works. And it's so close because it's all on the same plate.
The joke at my house, my son, he'll be 5 in May. He won't eat meat, and we are a very pro meat eating family. And he says he just goes, no, my nose, the smell, he won't, except for bacon.
Oh, well.
He'll eat bacon.
Yeah. It's so crispy and good.
It's just perfect.
It's so crispy and good.
Well, Dr. Bender, thanks for joining us today. If anyone has any more need for any information regarding this upcoming event, June 13th and 14th, by all means, check our information listed below. Is there a website, though, that they can go to that would be a landing page for this, Dr. Dave?
Yep, right. Yep, you can, right now, if you want more information, you can email Jennifer at productivedentist.com, or you can call our 800 number, 800-757-6077, extension 2, and we will have a landing page up by the time this publishes, and we can put it in the transcript notes.
Yes, of course, it'll be in the transcript, but I just wanted you to hear it if you were on the drive, so. Regan, thanks so much for being our special host today.
Absolutely. You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. And Dr. Bender, thanks for joining us today as our special dentist guest.
Oh, for sure. Thank you for having me as well.
All right. Y'all take care.
Bring your lunch or take us to the gym again next week to improve your everyday practices. Also, subscribe on iTunes, follow us on social media, and sign up for our email list. Now get out there and win with everyday practices.